Hey y'all, it's Wellness Wednesday. I be cracking myself up. I'm Cherette with Just Be Healthy Now. And today we are making rose oil. If you didn't know, rose oil is oil infused with roses. I'm so excited. Most of the time you're going to find rose oil in what do you call that? Like skin and beauty things. It's like luxurious. So I made some for me the other day. I've been playing along with infusing my oil with things because I went to Grenada, y'all. First of all, that's probably, I'll have to put it top three because I've had some hidden islands, but top three islands definitely. And there's this sulfur spring that you can go to in Grenada. And when you come out and the lady does your treatment, she rubs your skin with all of these infused oils in the sun. So she takes coconut oil and she stuffs different things in the oil and lets it sun brew. And that's what she rubs you down in. And y'all, mm, it made your girl feel good. She had garlic, cinnamon, star anise. I think that's how you say that. Don't give me the lion. She had orange peels in one. And y'all, that all felt divine. And so ever since I came back from Grenada during that visit, I have been infusing the hell out of my oil, guys. Okay. I infuse my oil with everything. It's ridiculous. So in the fall, I love to do like clove and cinnamon. It's amazing. Anyway, so that's how I got to roses. I love flowers. I have them all around me. I make floral crowns. Flowers just bring me this type of joy that I can't explain. I'm gonna move this because here we have boiling water. So flowers bring me this kind of joy that I just can't explain. And so I just want them in everything. So we're gonna infuse the oil. All right. So what you need for rose oil, you need boiling water. I'm actually going to turn this off in a second. You want your water to get hot and boiling and then just turn it off. Because once we put the oil and the roses together, then we'll sit it in the boiling water and it'll infuse. So you just need it to boil. Mine's not quite boiling yet, so I'm gonna give it a little bit. And then you need carrier oils and good stuff. So I use grapeseed oil as a carrier oil, mainly, and I'm a little bougie. There is this lemongrass coconut body oil. Can y'all see that? It's a glare on that thing. Does this work? I see that on YouTube sometimes. It's not working here. Anyway, I found this at Trader Joe's, and the reason why I love it is because it has 50 billion different oils, and it's like $4. So when I am out of stock, which I am out of stock of all of my oils except for grape seed right now. So when I'm out of stock of my oils, I just go and grab like a couple of these to make my body products. And honestly, it's been keeping me lazy because I probably have not ordered oil in about 4 months, but neither here nor there. Inside of here, you shall find coconut oil, olive oil, sweet almond oil, jojoba oil, and lemongrass oil. So those are really good oils to have together. So I just use this. And then I'm adding a little bit of vitamin E oil. Guys, my bad. My lighting's a little harsh, so you can't really see any of this. But this is a vitamin E blend. So it has coconut oil and vitamin E oil in it. So these are the bases of oils I'm going to use. You can use whatever oil you would like. I would say stick to oils that are more absorbent to the body. I tend to like grapeseed oil, olive oils. Coconut gets a little thick. You know what I'm saying? So if you have coconut oil, you can use it however you want to dilute it with something else. Okay. So yeah, any of those oils, sunflower oils, nice. You can use those for the carrier oil. So let's get started. So with your roses, they're not necessarily going to turn the most red that you think. So you can use any colored roses that you want. I tend to stick to red and pink because I don't like dyes. So you take, for this jar, I'm going to use about 4 or 5 roses. Now, if you have a regular mason jar, you want to use about 3 to 4. So I'm going to pick these off. We're boiling over here, guys. So I'm going to turn that off. Turn it off. Okay. So you're going to take the roses off. So see, you take the rose petal off. Now, look, I am not washing these. Don't judge me, judge mama, okay? It's just what I'm doing. Now, you can wash the petals. If you wash the petals, think about science, guys. Water and oil don't really mix. So if you wash off your petals, which is totally fine, you have to make sure they are all the way dried out, which is why I don't really wash mine. You know, whatever. I would be washing it with chlorine-filled tap water anyway. So just throwing it in there. All right. So you take that, and what I like to do is, oh, they look so beautiful. Look at that. I love roses, guys. You see all the layers? It reminds me of myself. So I take the middle and kind of just open it up like that, and it kind of tears off. You do want to be delicate. I know you, if you can't see, like I still don't want to just rip it open. I'll show you a couple different ways to take it off. This is the first way I learned. It's not my favorite, but you just kind of rip it open. All the layers. So that's one. All right. So you'll have these in the middle. What these are the seeds. So if you take these and dry them out, you can plant your own rose bushes. Okay. So I always try to keep these and dry them out. I have bunches of rose seeds. So some of the benefits as I'm doing this, because I didn't do it before I got on camera. I don't know why. Some of the benefits of rose oil. So this is the second way. I'm going to just show you guys this. So you break the bottom. So if you can see here, you break it there. So you see how I separate it, but I'm keeping it in the middle. So you do that and break the seal around each spot right there. And then you can just shake it off. This is my favorite way because it's least stressful. And you get more seeds at the bottom. All right. So and also make sure you want to separate the roses. All right. So some of the benefits of rose oil. So it has antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties, which means it is really good for eczema and acne for your face oil. Now, you definitely are going to have to drink water, look at your diet, and all these things. But rose oil is a great addition to your, what would you call it? Your facial routine in the AM and at night. So it's going to help with those dark spots. It does a lot for scarring, that sort of thing. This one's giving me some trouble, guys. It also, the fragrance of the rose, it is said to help with depression and anxiety. So I don't know if you've ever literally stopped and smelled the roses, but in any time, if you do stop and smell the roses, there is a calm that actually comes over you by the scent of the roses. So you do not lose that benefit here in the rose oil. They smell divine. I think I should have got a bigger bowl. This seems to be a lot, so I'm gonna actually stop at this one. These roses, so you see the size of them, they're huge. So the last time that I made this, my roses were a little smaller. So with this size rose, I think I'm only going to use 4 roses for this whole jar. So they're huge. Okay. So rose oil is also said to relieve pain and ease pain. So ladies, on your menstrual cycle, you can actually use this on the abdominal area. You can use this on the abdominal area to ease your the tension or pain that you might be having with your cramps. All right, so now we have all our flowers. I feel rich. Hmm. Who doesn't like rose petals? So now I'm going to take all of these and I'm going to start crushing them and tearing them. So the rose petals are very delicate. So you don't want to just go in and rip them all or whatever. You kind of still got to be gentle, but you want to release the fragrance of the roses and kind of get the oil out. Now, another method that I have seen for this that I don't really resonate with, mainly because I be feeling like, excuse me, people be doing too much. Oh, okay. So yes, I'm using rose petals, which is here, grapeseed oil. I have a vitamin E oil, and then a oil that is mixed from Trader Joe's, which has coconut, olive, sweet almond, jojoba, and lemongrass seed oil in it. Now, if you don't have all of these oils, you can simply just put this in grapeseed oil, put a little olive oil in it, and call it a day. I'm being extra. And speaking of extra, like I was saying, I feel like people be being extra and they put it in like Ziploc bags and bang it, which it will release the essence of the rose oil. However, I just don't think it's all that necessary. And in that method, you're using extra Ziploc bags for no reason. But if that's your life and that's how you resonate with it and you don't want to go through and tear it, by all means, put them in a Ziploc bag and bang it. Okay? Bang it. And it'll release all the oils. The reason why we're doing this, we want to release the oil and the fragrance, is because we're going to be putting this in the oil and letting it sit there. So you want all of the properties and the benefits to release from the petals and seep into the oil. Now you'll see in a second, when you put this in oil, it is going to it doesn't shrink, but you can fit a lot more of the petals in the jar than you think. So I like to actually fill the jar a little bit with oil first and then put the petals in there. And that way you can kind of I don't want to say get them moist, but like the moisture or the hydration, whatever you want to call it, from the oil, it actually kind of makes them pack down. Make sure your bowl's big enough. Because I didn't do that. So I have petals everywhere. But as you can see, I'm just going through and tearing it. It doesn't really matter how big or how small. You just want to open it up. And so also, what I love about this is you can use the rose oil that you're making alone, or you can infuse it with things. So I make body soap. I make hair products sometimes. I just like to make my own products. I like to know what's in what I'm using. I feel that when we create things for ourselves, in some way we are connecting back to our ancestors. They just weren't buying stuff like that. They were using the land. A lot of them were growing their food. They were foraging. They knew how to cultivate the land to live how they needed to live. They weren't purchasing $35 bottles of rose oil, or any oil at that. They were infusing it with what they had. And so in some ways, this is me connecting back to who I am. My great grandmother actually, my great grandparents, they lived on a farm, and my great grandmother, she was like known to make things. They had a store, and like she was who the neighborhood came to make things, to can things. And so in a lot of ways, I feel like our ancestors have gathered a lot of knowledge to help us cultivate the land. And when we get back to making our own products, to producing our own foods, it's like a ode to our ancestors to live in a way that we can cultivate the land and make what we make from it. Like, it's beautiful. Look at this. I get to play in rose petals to make my oil. Anyway, off of my soapbox, or is it soap? All right, so after you have shredded all of the petals, and I'm gonna still probably shred some here because I see some whole ones, and you don't want whole ones. So anyway, now you take a mason jar. It has to be glass, folks. Do not infuse anything in plastic because that sucks. So I take old jars, as you can see the label still kind of on here. This was applesauce. So I just take old jars and reuse them. So for my concoction, I'm going to go ahead and pour half of the oil in here, and then I'll probably have to top it off. We'll see depending on how many roses are in here. Ooh. Let me open the bottle, y'all. That might be important for the oil to get out in the jar. We got to open up the top, y'all. All right, let's go. All right, so just to show you how much I'm pouring in here. So my main oil is going to be grapeseed oil. That's going to be my carrier. All right, then I'm going to add in some vitamin C oil. Now that is a mixture. Oops, my bad, y'all. This is a mixture of vitamin E and another oil. So I'm going to put a pretty generous amount. So do y'all see that, how that color's changing? So the more oils you add in here, you have to understand the scent's going to change. There's lemongrass in here. So now I have a lemongrass and a rose scent. So my oil does smell a bit different. But that is the beauty of making your own things. If you make it this time and you only put grapeseed and olive oil, and you think the olive oil, the smell's too much, or you don't like how it feels on your skin, do it again different, So this is the lemongrass coconut body oil. Again, saving lives out here. So I'm going to add that to it. You see that? So she is a thick one. I love this oil. All I love this oil. I'm black, so y'all know I gotta tap it. Don't play. All right. Get all of it. All right, so that's about half the jar right there. See, it's about half the jar. So I'm gonna stop here and mix it and simply stuff the petals in the jar. Bam! And make sure you just stuff it like you're putting literally all of it in there. It seems like it will not. I'm going to do it above here, but it seems like it probably won't fit, but it will. Put it in the jar. I don't know if I'm going to use all of these rose petals because, like I said, these roses were huge, but we'll see. So you don't want to stuff it too much, you know, but just stuff it enough, you know. And we're going to top this off with oil again. I just find, excuse me, Lord. I just find that doing it with the oil first, it helps with it getting in there in the jar. So you see, I'm just stir that thing up. So you see how it goes down when you stir it? So here I'm going to add more oil. Oh, it smells so good already. So how much you add here is really going to just depend on you and how much more roses you want to put in there. Oh, I used the whole bottle, y'all. Let me just go ahead and dump that and tap it. Now, I do love to keep my bottles like this. So instead of you going and buying travel bottles, I'll like keep this bottle and like put whatever in it. So I actually use this. This is 4 ounces, but never have I ever went on a trip and they actually checked the ounces. That's just me. All right, so I'm going to open this. All right, and I'm going to finish pouring. So again, guys, simple. You take roses. You take the petals off the roses. You tear up the petals. Ooh, I'm playing myself trying to open this. You take the petals and you rip them up. And then you take your base oil, whatever that is. Today I'm using grapeseed oil, vitamin E oil. And some of this over here is jojoba and lemongrass, that sort of thing. But whatever oil you want to use for your skin, you put that in the jar. And then you put the petals in the oil. Yeah, I'm not going to use all of these petals, it seems that way. But you do want to make sure you put as many petals as you can in here without overstuffing it. There you go. Yeah, so that's enough. That is enough. So I'm going to clean my area here. Again, when you take the rose off of the petal, try to save this. Those are rose seeds. And you can have your own rose bushes, which means you won't go have to pay these people to get their roses. Okay? All right, so I'm going to clean up my area here. Put this back on here. Bam. All right, so this whole time we had a pot of water over here. The shelf life is 4 to 6 months. All right, so 4 to 6 months. You don't want to make too many jars at one time, but you can make, I use rose oil every day. So you can make 2 jars at one time if you use that much, and it will hold for 4 to 6 months. If you want a longer shelf life, go ahead and put it in the refrigerator. So say I made 2 jars and I want the other one to stay longer, I'll use this one, strain it, and then the other one I'll put in the refrigerator. This is unnecessary, but I like to do a little tea tree oil in the rose oil. Just a few drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because it's a good number. So I do put tea tree oil in my rose oil a lot because I use it for my skin and my body, and that has a lot of antiseptic properties. And again, it'll help with discoloration. If you have pimples or any of this, it really helps your skin get it together. Okay. If you take baths instead of putting just regular oil in your bath, you can put the rose oil in your bath, and you can also use the roses. Okay, luxury 101, don't skip on the petals. Okay. All right, so that is mixed up. We're gonna put a lid on it. Look at that. Isn't she beautiful? All right, so now I'm gonna take this pot. I'm gonna put this in here, and I'm gonna let this sit for at least 24 hours. Now, when the water cools off completely, you're going to take it out of the water and continue to let it sit. But excuse me. The rose petals are very gentle. So you do not want to have them in boiling water to infuse it in the oil. Now, I'll probably be making rose water soon, only because I need to make face toner. And I've just fallen in love with roses, you guys. So that one, you kind of use a different method as far as the hot water. But in general, the petals are very delicate. So in order to steep it, you want to just use the hot boiling water that's off of the stove. You don't want the water to be boiling when you put them in there. Now, if you can see my pot, I can barely turn it sideways, but you want a pot that your jar can fit sideways in. Reason being is because now more of the water will surround the, hey Monique, we're making rose oil. But you want the oil, all of the oil to be in the jar, all of the oil to be in the water so that it can infuse. So just quick, hey Monique, I know you just got here. We're making rose oil. I'm going to recap for everyone again what we did. It's super simple. So you take a jar, a mason jar, you fill it up with a carrier oil. I'm using grapeseed oil as a carrier today. Ooh. And I also added some vitamin E oil and some body oil from Trader Joe's. You can use whatever oil you want, olive, coconut, grapeseed, sunflower, whatever. So you fill up a jar with the oil, and then you take actual roses. You take the petals off of the roses and you tear them up in a bowl. Like this. So you see they're like torn up, most of them. And then you take the petals and you put them in the oil in the jar, and you take a pot of boiling water off of the stove, and you take the jar with the oil and the petals in the jar and place it in the water like this, and you let it sit and infuse for 24 hours. You can take the jar out of the hot water once it totally cools down to room temperature, and that concoction will last on the shelf for 4 to 6 months. Now, if you want it to last on that tail end of 6 months, 5, 6 months, and you're making a double batch, you can go ahead and put the oil in the refrigerator. Now, I will say this. I haven't done it lately, but when I do like self-care Sundays and I do facials for myself, I love to have my toner, which I'm actually making rose toner. I'll have to come back and do it with you guys, but maybe that'll be next week. But I do my toner and my oil in the refrigerator. And so when I scrub my face and take off the mask, my skin's usually open, and the coldness of the oil and the toner really help to calm it down. That is an inside tip that I never even told nobody. So there you go. So that's what we were doing today. I hope you guys are able to make your rose oil. Share the video and comment and let me know how it turned out, because I always love that. And yeah, I guess next week we'll be making rose water, and the rose water can be used for toner, which is actually what I'm going to use it for. So we'll make rose toner for your skin next week. So we'll see if these are still hanging on. I might have to get you new ones. But thank you guys so much for tuning in again for Wellness Wednesdays. I'm Cherette with Be Healthy Now. If you have not, go to my website and subscribe to my newsletter, and you'll get all the goodies. It's www.justtheletterBeHealthyNow.com, and join the crew on my newsletter. And I will see you again next week, same time, same place. See you guys. Peace.